Hi, this is Heidi Anderson. So, I grew up in upstate New York and we had a little farm that we had some cows on. And I noticed some behavior that when a big storm would start coming, the cows would start running away from the storm. Like any of us, when a storm comes, we run away from it. When difficulties show up, we run away from them because it's uncomfortable. But the funny thing was that the cows could not outrun the storm. And so, really, they were prolonging their pain because the storm would eventually overtake them and they'd be stuck in the rain and in the storm for a longer amount of time. Can you recognize this in yourself? How we procrastinate, we put things off, we don't want to deal with that difficult relationship conversation that we need to have, or the cleaning of the house, or maybe there's some stuff at work that you really need to deal with, or something that you just know inside that you gotta take care of, but you just don't want to take the time to look at it. And so you run away from it. I've noticed this in myself. I read recently about buffalo and how buffalo deal with this kind of situation. So my parents would often take us to a big buffalo herd in upstate New York. It was really cool to go watch them. Well, these buffalo, when a storm would come, when it would crest over the hill, they would actually run towards the storm. And by running towards the storm, they actually minimize the amount of suffering that they experience. Now, I thought this was really, really interesting because all of us have to experience storms in our lives. That's like pain. We can't get out of pain. The storms come to the cows, the buffaloes, you and me, to all of us. But suffering is how we meet our pain. Now, the cows, they created more suffering for themselves by running away from the storm, being overtaken by the storm. Whereas the buffalo, they minimalized their suffering by running through it to the other side. So how is it in your life? I know that for myself, I've often used cow mentality. So for me, this can become a mindfulness exercise, a noticing and a opening an awareness to what kind of mentality am I in right now? When the difficulty, procrastination, the things I don't want to have to deal with come up, instead of automatically responding and running away from it, how can I help myself to remind myself about the buffalo mentality? So using our mindful awareness, we can notice the sensations and what's going on. Okay, fear, discomfort. Oh yeah, and remind ourselves, I could be like a buffalo. Run towards it so that I'm choosing to minimize my suffering by actually meeting the difficulties head on. So I'd like to challenge you to look at your own life, to see if you can use the buffalo mentality whenever difficulties show up. And I'll do the same in my life. And let me know how it works for you. I'd love some feedback about what you thought about the story. And thank you so much for today.